All right, welcome everyone. Let's call this meeting to order, the Board of Supervisors for February 13th. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all our brave servicemen and women overseas. Thank you. Is this it, Tom?
Yep, and Jim's here too, if you want.
Okay. All right, so first announcement of the evening is, well, first of all, welcome everyone. And we did have an executive session prior to the meeting. We discussed real estate and other litigation matters. I do have one announcement, if I may. This is about our wonderful football team winning the Super Bowl and the parade tomorrow. That's right. We're thrilled. However, our emergency management team, which includes our Chief Donnelly and Joe Velton from the fire service and emergency management in general, they came up with a plan for tomorrow for the train station and all the traffic around it. And it's going to be a mess because the last time we did this, it was a mess. And our goal is to get everybody to work and to the parade and back, not without anyone getting hurt, and to maintain our emergency services for the rest of the community for the remainder of the day and while that's going on. So, Jim, would you care to elaborate on the traffic patterns and all that, or no, you want me to do it?
Thank Joe Velton for not being here.
Yeah, I will. I'll thank you. Yeah, exactly. So before Chief Donnelly comes up, we do want to thank Joe Velton for not being here tonight. He had an emergency, evidently. So this is kind of what we have planned to keep traffic and pedestrians and everyone else safe. Your floor.
Good evening, how are you?
Wonderful.
Like I said, I'd like to thank Joe Velton for not being here, so I'll take that. Yes, the R2 is one of two designated lines out of Bucks County to Philadelphia tomorrow. Cornwall Heights, the Trenton line, Warminster, the R2. Doylestown, Lansdale line is dedicated, but I believe it's starting in Lansdale. So, and then it just clicks around the counties for the regional rail. The goal is to load up the trains anywhere from 3 to 4 cars, starting somewhere around 5 a.m. And then it's nonstop to Philadelphia. They're not stopping in any other chain. The only other spot they may stop is Jenkintown if a car's not full, but they're going to fill up at Jenkintown, they're going to fill up here. So it's the same as 2017, which was better than 08. If those of you were here in 08 when the Phillies won, it was an absolute mess. So SEPT is taking control of the transport down, and we will help them. 2017 went fairly smooth, although there are road restrictions. Park Avenue is closed from Burpee Seed up to Street Road. So people working at Burpee Seed, people working at the other companies can get in off of Park Avenue, Kelly Line, and get to work. But we're securing the neighborhood of the Speedway from Madison to Park. We had no parking signs up, or they put no parking signs up. I had them removed because we're just going to follow the ordinances. We're going to try not to impact the residents as much as we possibly can, and those signs stand forth for those 3 streets, those unit blocks right there. So if we show up and your tag doesn't match the address, you're getting ticketed and most likely towed off that street because you don't belong there. It's against the ordinance. We may knock on the door if we have time. We'll have a cop stationed there, if not 2. One on Madison in between the 3 streets and one on Park, handling that part of Park. The majority of our area will be Street and Jacks down to County Line. We'll be closed. There's only 1 lane traffic coming through on Jacksonville Road. There's about 300, 400, maybe 500 spots in SEPTA's lot. That lot is getting closed as we speak. No one will get in for overnight, And we'll reopen the lot tomorrow when we take control of the lot at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, depending on the brief, when we get over there. We will let in a max amount of cars that can fit in there legally, then the lot's closed. The Warminster Heights neighborhood will be restricted. They have no parking on the streets as it is. So anybody found parked on Warminster Heights streets will be ticketed and towed and moved as soon as we can. We're blocking Van Horn Jacks, Van Horn Potter, so there's really no one to get in that way. They're gonna have to go straight down Jacksonville Road to get off Jacksonville Road. We have 5 officers assigned, plus a SEPTA liaison person inside. You do need a ticket to get on the train. If you do not have a ticket, you're not getting on the train. End of story. There is no drinking. You start drinking in the parking lot, you show signs of public intoxication, you're gonna get arrested right in the lot, and you're not gonna see you're gonna get transported back to Warminster headquarters, and you're gonna sit there until we get around to handling you, which could be somewhere around 11 o'clock in the morning. So go down, have fun, be safe, don't act up in Warminster. It's only a 100-foot ride out of Warminster, and then you can act up all you want. All right. And once you pass the 10 square mile borders of Warminster Township, go Birds. Majority of my department is working, starting at 2 a.m. this morning, and we're working till noon. So there's no other police agencies, SEPTA police aren't coming up. There's no other county resources coming in other than what we have here in Warminster. So please enjoy yourself in Philly. All right, on the way back, coming back should be easy. It just bleeds back. It's Friday afternoon in the city. It's going to be sun. Stay down there, do dinner, drink, hang out, Uber home, then have fun. But they'll trickle back as they see fit. So, any questions, comments, concerns?
No, other than thanks for all your hard work and and the police and emergency management for everything you're doing. Appreciate it.
I'll tell Joe when I see him.
Yeah, make sure you relay that to Joe.
Thanks.
All right, have a good
Thanks,
Chief.
Very well prepared, good job.
All right, Janice, would you like to go?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Not only are the birds playing, but tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so don't forget, guys and girls, to make sure you take care of your sweetheart. It's not too late to order flowers and have them delivered, or candies and chocolate, and crumble cookies are amazing. We had a sample this week. So don't forget your sweetheart. Take care.
I have no announcements this time, thank you.
I'd like to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day, especially my sweetheart, Bob. Happy Valentine's Day. That's it, Mr. Chair.
Judy, do you have anything to add?
Oh, yeah, that ditto. Happy Valentine's Day, but please be careful if you're going downtown tomorrow. I hate to see anybody get trampled going when they're trying to have fun, and I want to thank everybody. I had, some of you know that I had a knee replacement on the 4th of February, and there's been some complications, and that's why I'm not there with you tonight. But I want to thank everybody for all their good wishes and goodwill that they've shown me this week. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Judy. Okay, anything else? I think we're done there. Let's go right to presentations. We have our Parks and Rec Director, Jessica Fox, here to give an update on our winners for the holiday decorating contest. All yours, Jess.
Thanks. So in 2022, Kathy and I decided to add the holiday house decorating contest to our programming, and Township Manager and the board were on board with that, and this was our 3rd year of running this contest. So first I just want to thank the Warminster Rotary Club. They have been really awesome partners in our winter activities, and they are the primary sponsor on the holiday house decorating contest. Also, just real quick plug, the Rotary is having their 5th annual golf outing on Friday, April 25th. Rotary website for details. That is part of where they raise their funding to help us with these projects. So, that being said, we are going to move right into, we have pictures this year, guys.
All right.
Yay!
Just kidding. It was working
Mm.
previously. We did test this. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we're going to start with the Warminster Township Administrative Building and the Warminster Township Free Library, who did some festive things. While this is not part of the contest, we do like to lead from the front. So great job by Public Works getting that all ready, and the Parks crew and Warminster Township Free Library for bringing us some festivities this year. This one is 222 Debline. Now, I want to just say that these pictures really don't do these houses justice. Every year when we have this contest, we definitely recommend going out and seeing them yourself. 222 Deb, 831 Lingo, 966 Catalpa, 973 Birch. Now, this one is a super animated one, so you can't really get the full effect in the picture. 1090 Domino. This participant asked that we do not put their address up. 1327 Nevark, I learned, is how it's pronounced today. Correct. 1515 Kingsley. This one also had a lot of animation going on and was attached to some music. Okay, so we're going to get to our first winner. This is our honorable mention winner. So every year we have one honorable mention. And that this year was the Kelly household at 490 Fifth Avenue. They can't be here with us tonight, but they did a really great job. Our second winner is our runner-up for Kids' Choice. So Kids' Choice was a category that we added this year. So the kids were able to vote. And this is the first year that we did public voting online. Before we had judges going out and we were tallying things up. So the Gildings are here today from 881 Fairfield. If you all would like to come up and get your prize. So we have a certificate and a gift certificate sponsored by the Rotary. Okay. And this one's really cool too. They have dioramas that they build outside. It's pretty awesome. Okay, our first choice, or our first place for Kids' Choice was the Stever household, 1177 Dagger Lane. And they are here with us today. Thank you. Okay, and they also receive a certificate and a gift card courtesy of the Rotary. Okay, our runner-up for our classic category was the Eastock household. They're at 705 Tennyson Drive. This one, I don't have any stake in the judging, so I can say this is one of my favorites. I love this classic look. But they are on vacation, so they will not be here with us today. And our classic first place house is the Palo household. And they are here with us today. Angela is not here. She's not feeling well, but her family members are here. All right, and we'll move on to our extreme runner-up. This is the Benedetto household at 1300 Spies. This is a great one if you get a chance to go by next year. They do this every year. He's got the Santa countdown. So if you have kids and you want to drive by and see how many days Santa's coming, and they also have everything tuned to music as well. And then our first place in the extreme category is the McGuire household, 1168 Oakleaf Lane, one of the favorites every year. And Mr. McGuire is here with us today. All right, and this is just a photo that I took when I was out taking photos of the houses. I thought that was kind of fun. And again, we just want to thank all the participants, everyone who participated in judging online, and the Warminster Rotary Club for their support in these events.
Great. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks.
Congratulations, everyone. Karen, would you like to take some photos with everyone?
I would love to.
Okay.
Is this the right time to be
Yeah,
taking
would,
photos with
yeah, we'll take a short recess, and then we can get some photos with you and everyone.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
All right, thank you, Jessica, and thanks to all the participants and everyone that took the time to vote online. We're looking forward to another great contest this year. Okay. We have the municipal authorities here tonight. Would you like to come on up, Tim, Dalton? I know we kind of flip things here, but same thing, just different time slot.
It's like Happy Days in Laverne.
Good evening. I'm Tim Hagee. I'm the General Manager of the Warminster Municipal Authority. Dalton George is here with us tonight. He's the Assistant Manager. I will say the Chairman of the authority is here tonight, Walt Krzyzanowski. I'd like to make a special mention about Dalton. We've started up a stormwater business. We started up a construction crew this year, and he was instrumental in both of those, starting up a new business. So he's a credit to the community and just a really great asset for our community.
Very great.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. It's always an excitement to get here. I believe we were here last June, so we want to kind of give an update where we stand with a lot of our capital projects. Our capital business is a large portion of what we do for the community, but sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind, so we always like to get here and give an update on where we stand. So once again, we were here in June, so I just want to recap some of our major accomplishments in 2024. I feel like it's been a broken record every time I've been here talking about the FEMA work. Just a reminder that Hurricane Ida was in September of 2021. Nothing happens fast with the federal government, so we are happy to announce that our first three major locations for our FEMA work have been completed. This is Decker Lane, Cloverly Road, Ivy Land, and Roberts Road. And we have our next couple locations applying for permits as we speak. So we are in the process of getting that completed. And as I mentioned before, we were obligated $1.8 million worth in damages from that storm. So it is nice to get that out of the way so we can move on to other capital items that we had planned originally before we were shocked by the storm 6 months after taking over the system. The township paving, we ended up replacing, I believe it was 150 storm drains last year that were in line of township paving. As we've always said, anytime the roads are going to be getting paved, we want to make sure we inspect about a year prior and get in there and replace any pipe or inlets. That way when they come through and pave and they seal it, it's a nice clean look and we never have to come back to that area again and rip up a freshly paved road. Pipe replacement last year between the paving project and other jobs, we replaced about 3,000 linear feet of pipe in-house without any contracts, it's just our staff. Work orders on a regular basis, we complete about 350 regular work orders a year. That's your standard outfall inspections where the water discharges to the creek, culvert inspections to make sure no debris is blocking up any pipes so no flooding happens. And then we have about 75 to 80 low-lying storm drains within the township that we know typically clog, especially around the fall, that get sealed shut with leaves. So our staff goes out there on a regular basis to make sure they're free to drain. TV truck and mapping upgrades, I do want to highlight this because our TV truck is probably one of the most important pieces of equipment that we have. As our message has been since we've been here coming from day one is we have to inspect the system before we can put together a real long range plan, 10, 15 years. And I'm happy to announce since taking over the system in April of 2021, we've televised close to 100,000 feet of pipe and we've cleaned about 50,000 feet of pipe. And you may say, well, why is that number lower? Not all the pipe needs to be clean. And the pipe that we do find, we may replace, just essentially immediately because it's completely failing. So thank you to Bob. He's our TV truck operator. I'm sure if you live here, he's a pleasure to be around. If you're out there, you see a big white box truck with WMA on the side. That's the TV truck. And once again, it's a crucial piece of equipment that we have. This, as I always mention, there are ways to reduce stormwater fees. This is one of our most recent events in October. Thank you to Warminster Township. Thank you to Ben Wilson Senior Center. Thank you to the Rotary Club. And most importantly, the Neshaminy Watershed Association. This is one of our public involvement events right behind Ben Wilson, behind Giuseppe's and Delmont Avenue. On the left-hand side, we kind of split this project up into two. We planted close to 80 trees out there in October. So we're trying to do our part, but once you contribute your time for us, it's worth 15% credit on your bill for 1 year. We want you to come out, get involved, and participate, and to see where the money's going for stormwater. It's a little hard to tell, but if you drive by, you can see the cages and everything else that we did out there that day. I believe Kathy and Ken were there on Saturday. This is one of our stream cleanup events. We try to do 2 a year, one in the spring, one in the fall. This was by far our most well-attended event to date. We had a local Boy Scout troop come out, and they were a pleasure to work with. It was really fun. We were out there about 3 hours on a Saturday. So once again, the public involvement credits, if you donate your time, it's also worth 15%. So if you, for example, attended the tree planting and the stream cleanup, that'll get you the maximum 30% credit off your bill for 1 year, and then just have to do it year after year. So a couple hours of your time a year to get the maximum credit from a residential side. This was Cloverly Road. I felt like this was an important picture to show. This is one of our major FEMA jobs. When they built the neighborhoods 50, 60 years ago, I don't think they ever thought when that pipe needed to be replaced, what type of a machine had to get in there. But the operator from the construction company that won the war, G&B Construction, that bucket was actually going over top of the house every single time and dumping into the dump truck. And the little kid on the right-hand side, I think he had a ball just hanging out back all day watching the machinery run. But it was great. They did great work for us. This is another important picture, as I mentioned, to get started. You know, this infrastructure is out of sight, out of mind. You kind of forget how big this infrastructure is. I believe this was a 72-inch pipe that was going in there. You can see the storm drain was way taller than the equipment operator that was out there. And this is what it was when we were done with it. So we come in, you know, anything we replace or rip up, we make sure we put back even better than how we got there. It's a little hard to tell from the picture, but this is what we encounter a lot: stream bank erosion. This was Ivyland and Roberts. Just part of the erosion that has happened over the years. This pipe, with all the concrete joints within the pipe, failed during Hurricane Ida. I know Karen lives right across the street from there, and she can tell you how scary it was that night. But once again, this pipe was upsized. Oh, keeps jumping. And a complete stream bank restoration on the left and right-hand side of that discharge. And you might be wondering, well, why'd you use different blocks on the far side? We actually have a gravity sewer line there and a sewer force main. So we wanted removable blocks just in case if we ever had to access that manhole and we don't have to take apart the other rock. And vegetation will eventually grow, kind of cover that up a little bit. So we do want to highlight a couple of the 2025 jobs that we have coming up for this year. Two big ones. Tennyson Basin was just put out for award for the bid. Just to kind of give context for how much money some of these jobs cost, the Tennyson Basin retrofit low bid came in at $1.6 million. So, you know, over the years, building up these reserves to be able to do these jobs the proper way. Whittier Basin, same concept. The engineering work has started. We are trying to partner with Archbishop Wood to enlarge that basin back there, because that basin controls a lot of water management for a portion of the neighborhood, going down Spencer and Fisher through Twin Streams all the way down to Bristol Road. So it's a very important stormwater basin to get our hands on. Inlet spray lining and pipe lining, we currently have open contracts on the sanitary sewer side. But the newer technology, if the pipes are in harder places to get to, and structurally it's okay, we want to try to get in there and line the pipe so we don't have to do a full dig and replace. It's a very cost-effective way to renew the pipes for another 50 to 75 years. And then inlet spray lining. So what we want to be able to do, especially in the speedway, a lot of the storm drains were custom built all those years ago, and it's going to be very hard to replicate that if we full dig and replace. So we want to be able to do the brick and mortar work and spray it and essentially never have to think about that storm drain failing again. And then the 7 remaining FEMA locations, Acorn Drive, Arbor Lane, Centennial Road, Kemper Drive, Laurel Avenue, Lavera Road, and Manor Drive. We did not forget about you. It just takes a long time to get these permits processed and the designs. So that is next on our to-do list, is to get those jobs permitted by DEP and to get them out to bid so we can complete those. And then I believe Andrew's going to touch on the township paving, but as I mentioned, anytime the township roads are going to be repaved, we're already going to be out there replacing storm drains and doing brick and mortar work if needed. Here's Tennyson Basin. As I mentioned, this job was awarded for about $1.6 million. As you can see on your left-hand side, where the shades are a little darker, that currently is a somewhat of a wooded area currently. It's a lot of deadfall trees, a lot of small diameter trees. We have proposed and we're going to be expanding this stormwater basin. And what I mean by that is the current design was only designed for a 25-year storm. That basin was only built to capture what was developed there years ago. Tennyson Drive, Mitchner Court, a little bit of the Roberts Road, and Christie Court. But we know big picture where a lot of that water is coming from. It's coming from the top of York Road, a Christ Home property. It's coming from the Tesla, the shopping center along York Road. So we know it's about 75 acres of drainage area that is coming into that stormwater basin that was never accounted for. And you look at some of our FEMA locations, it's not a coincidence that's all downstream from this area. So what we need to do, we want to get in there once, build it to today's codes and standards, which anybody coming in here doing a land development project has to meet a 100-year storm. So why would we come in and just put a Band-Aid on something when we know it has to be upgraded and built to today's codes and standards? So that's what's going to happen here. The official notices will go out very soon. We have a pre-construction meeting in the next couple weeks with the contractor. And then all the details will be sent out to all the surrounding residents, and they can contact me directly at the authority if there's any questions. Same concept with Whittier Basin. I won't spend too much time on this, but as you can see, same concept of enlarging the basin, taking some of the Archbishop Wood property. When that basin was built, it was never built to accommodate even, I believe that's Whittier Drive, and accounting for some of the stormwater flow coming down, I believe that's Mason. So what we need to do is the same thing, get our hands on that, upgrade it to today's codes and standards to meet a 100-year storm. And this is just a picture of an example of a storm drain inlet spray. There are other color options. You don't have to go bright orange. But it's just a way to show the residents and you guys here, once we do that brick and mortar work, you spray line that storm drain, and that storm drain will last another 75 years on average. Sewer lateral inspection program. If you received our newsletter, we had a highlight in this, and we've received a couple calls. We have some information on our website. We had some meetings again with the township today. We were here back in October when the board adopted the ordinance. It's been up and running as far as working the logistics out of this program. But essentially what it is upon resale, every private sewer lateral will need to be inspected upon resale. And a TV video will need to be supplied to the authority, and that master plumber will essentially pass or fail that sewer lateral, and we will work with the homeowners and prospective buyers if that sewer lateral needs to be repaired or replaced. But this is very important for us. A lot of other townships are going this direction. I would say on average in Warminster, the average sewer lateral is about 50 years old, I would say. Somebody may have replaced their roof twice since owning the house, but maybe never looked at the sewer lateral once. And we know from a groundwater infiltration standpoint, the wastewater treatment facility, every ratepayer pays more money when it rains because we see the number skyrocket at the wastewater facility. We average about 4 to 5 million gallons a day processing water. You get a heavy rain, that number jumps up to 20, 25 million gallons. So it's coming from the ground. So we're doing our part, as Tim will mention in his slides, as far as lining our sewer lines and the manholes. But if you added up the footage in Warminster Township, the private side almost doubles to what we have in our system. So we're trying to get up to date and piggyback off of other townships. But if you have any questions, we have more information on our website. You can email me directly, and this will go live sometime in early March, working with the township. So once again, I know it's a big change for people here when they're going to sell their house, but we're going to work with the realtor. We're going to work with you guys at settlement, and we'll answer any questions and make it right.
So I just want to note that for Tennyson Basin, we did receive grant money, thanks to Senator Farry and Representative Monroe. What was that, $914,000 to assist us in making that a 100-year stormwater basin, because 25-year storms now occur every other day. So it's going to really help us with our MS4 stormwater plan that's mandated by the state, and also help the residents with flooding. Thank you.
From a customer perspective, we had reduced water usage rates now for 4 quarters in a row, so a full year through MIRIA. That's the authority that helps with remediation work and the cost incurred for that for PFAS remediation. I also want to mention the value of municipal ownership. The average on a private in Bucks County for aqua, for wastewater, for a monthly charge is about $104. Ours is just a little bit more than $40 a month. The average monthly aqua water charge is about a little more than $80. Ours is $36. We have 3 services: water, sewer, storm. It's $86 a month combined for all 3. I don't have a single utility in my house that's only $86. I wish my cell phone bill was somewhere.
Right.
We are a capital-intense business. As Dalton has mentioned, some of the things we did in 2024 at the wastewater plant, we replaced the waste gas burner, replaced the UV system, that's the disinfection before it goes into the stream. We got a PICO rebate for that because we reduced electric by about $127,000 a year. So they give you a 1 year's reduction in that. Arxtera is a very innovative treatment process. We needed help at our wastewater plant to continue to meet stringent criteria for our permit. We have probably with all the Arxtera equipment, it's probably the only one in the nation with that equipment. Leak detection, we continue to work on that last year to help proactively find leaks in the system. And as Dalton said, we do lining when we can. We do 10,000, it's a little bit less than 2 miles every year. We just do it routinely every year to continue to renew the sewer pipes in our system. We do that by inserting that lining from manhole to manhole, and we don't have to dig up the street and disrupt the neighborhood when we do that work. This is part of the Arxtera process. There's a handful of the Arxtera media. They call it migrate media. One of our operators is spraying that into our wastewater treatment tanks. That's a typical looking wastewater treatment tank. You can see the air bubbling in that. You need to keep the air flowing, to keep the bacteria alive and healthy. The media on the left allows that bacteria to grow in colonies. So it supercharges the treatment system. It gives adds bacteria to the wastewater treatment process. Those migrate media, they part of the sludge. It has to be renewed. We waste sludge every day. That media is screened out and is then sent back into those tanks to continue to work. That bacteria on those media is very important and very healthy for the wastewater treatment process. The piece of equipment to the right of that slanted piece of equipment is a cyclone. Any wastewater treatment plant that I've ever been involved with or know of, you waste sludge every day. That's part of the process. But you waste the good bacteria in that sludge with the bad bacteria. That piece of equipment on the right separates the good bacteria from the bad. We take the good, send it back, and get back to work. So that's a little unique for us. The equipment on the picture on the left is a valve turner. You have to exercise the water valves in the system. It helps, it's much more effective than doing it manually. The piece of equipment on the right is the leak detection equipment. We do listen what's going on in the community. And we listen by the pipes. We listen between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning when it's as quiet as could be in the community. But leaks make funny sounds, and small leaks make a distinct sound. So we want to find those leaks when they're small. This piece of equipment on the right, we insert on top of the valve in the system, and we can hear those small leaks, and we can fix them before they become major problems. That's pretty unique in a water system. This is our part of our wastewater treatment plant. Those round tanks are digesters. Digesters produce methane gas. The methane gas we use to heat up wastewater in the process. What's not used is burned off as waste gas. Old waste gas burners were put either on top of the tank or next to the tank, and that does not meet today's safety standards. So we relocated that to meet safety standards. 2025 capital improvements, Aspen Road, we're going to do a sewer force main replacement. We're replacing, I told you in the wastewater process, blowers, blow air. Air is very critical to the system. We're replacing 40-year-old blowers and pumps. We're going to look at the headworks, that's the beginning of the plant, and start that process. This stuff's capital intense, very expensive. It's about $3 million that project's going to be. We're not going to complete that this year, but we're going to start that work. We're going to do electrical and SCADA upgrades in our system. SCADAs are our computer system that helps control our different processes. We replace hydrants for public safety. I'd like to tell Joe Velton that, but he's not here. We replace valves when possible. Valves are very important in a water system. We have a future expense coming up that we're looking at. We have PFAS in our sludge from that groundwater Dalton told you. We get rainwater that comes in, groundwater comes in, we have PFAS in our sludge. We're going to need to work on that in the future. Some of that equipment, very unique, and it's probably in the range of 15 to 20 million. That's the type of numbers that we're dealing with. And again, this year, we're going to slip line from manhole to manhole in the sewer system to upgrade about 2 more miles every year. We do spray lining, as Dalton showed on stormwater inlets. We spray line the manholes and renew those. We do 100 a year. We've been doing this now probably close to 15 years. Sewer lateral lining, we're going to do lining of our sewer laterals, which is the lateral from the sewer main in the street to about the curb area. So we have that TV truck going out, and we detect that there's infiltration coming into the system, and we can't effectively replace that, we'll line that. We're going to put in some generators for backup electrical and a Godwin pump that backs up our wastewater pump station. Sewer pump stations are throughout the community. We have, I believe, 14 sewer pump stations, and we have backup capabilities now at all of them. And with the backup pump system, instead of just a backup generator, it helps with pumping and electric. Well treatment construction, Myria has provided funding for 2 well treatment systems to remove PFAS from our water supply. The United States Navy is going to fund 7 other wells, and that's going to pretty much get all of our wells with treatment capability. I talked earlier about a construction crew business startup that Dalton spearheaded. This year, we started on Prospect Road with water main replacements. That's a mess at the moment. We're going to make a mess until we complete that and do the trench paving and then finally paving on that street. We're going to do most of our work in the Speedway and portions of Evergreen, portions of Maple, portions of Nemerall, and Aspen, Beach, Date, Elm, Grape, Juniper, and Calmia. This is what about 4 miles of pipe looks like. Proud of this slide. This is, we've replaced the cast iron pipe in these streets. The highlighted blue lines are ductile iron. We've made quite an impact over the last 15 years. We just have to keep plugging away as budget allows, but we have to continue to do that work every year. Water quality, we talked about adding additional treatment. We are bullseye central for PFAS contamination, unfortunately. We've had to deal with that. We are going to be under the new DEP regulations, but we already meet them. Other municipalities are going to be implementing PFAS treatment in the coming years to meet the new regulations. We already meet them. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So I just wanted, so the residents are clear for the perfluorinates or PFAS. All our water that we purchase right now from North Wales is non-detect for PFAS.
It's
compounds.
non-detect or closed. It's under the very, very strict limits.
Yes. Okay. And all that for $80 a month?
Well, $80 a month for water sewer storm.
Water
Yes.
sewer storm, yes. But it includes all that
Yes.
capital work.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I just wanted to make a comment about all of the improvements that you're doing, the water quality that we have here in Warminster, and the cost. People are very aware, because they know, everybody knows somebody that has aqua or whatever, and they complain about it all the time. We are so lucky to have the quality and the people that are running the WMA. We have great people. You guys know what you're doing, and you're doing a great job, and I know that the residents appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thanks for passing on those savings to the residents, because they're very happy about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
WMA gets a round of applause. First time ever.
Probably. All right, so thanks, Tim, thanks, Dalton. So moving along, Tim mentioned the Speedway that we're in the process of starting the water main work now. So we'll introduce our Public Works Director, Andrew, and he's going to talk about the road paving program this year. Joe Belton?
2025 road program, ADA road grant program. As Tim and Dalton mentioned, they are going to be performing work in the Speedway. So I understand, we kind of said last year that our hopes were to do the whole Speedway, but we are going to make the commitment to do a portion of the Speedway as we follow their work being performed. It'll be a little different this year in the sense that we're not going to do it all in one shot. We're going to kind of do 2 phases, one in the spring, one in the fall. The fall phase will be including that portion of the Speedway and Prospect. We hope to pave in the Speedway from Aspen, so basically County Line to Fir and a portion of Evergreen. So that's what the intentions are, and I think that they're pretty confident that we'll be able to meet that goal. As far as the spring portion, we will be focusing on the neighborhood Centennial. You can see it in red on the map on the right-hand side, which would include Centennial Drive and the neighborhood to the right of that, which would include Revolutionary and those roads within that neighborhood. I know we get a lot of complaints about Centennial Drive. It's one of our main roads that has not been paved yet, so it'll be nice to get that accomplished. So there will be one other section, a small industrial park off Jacksonville, which includes Bon Air. It needs a lot of help, and it's an industrial area, so there is a lot of truck traffic that goes through there. So we do get, it's a lot of wear and tear on that road on a regular basis, but it desperately needs our attention. So those are our intentions for paving. Like I said, we'll try and divvy it out, spring, fall portions, phase 1, phase 2. We have a plan for 3 alternate roads that are very small, that in previous years they kind of got left to the wayside or skipped for whatever reason, but we hope to try and get them done. That would be the orange to your left-hand side, Kingsley, Mallard Drive, and then up top, Old York at York Roads. If we finish those, we're able to get those with the alternate, everything will be paved from York Road to Valley Road between Bristol and Street within the last 7 years. And then that, will continue to move to the right moving forward as we work with our paving programs. As far as the ADA ramps, this year, we plan to just continue with catching up on some of the areas that we had done in the past 3 years. Last year we had focused on the Speedway. This year we're going to focus on the neighborhood up behind McDonald School and adjacent to WCP. With all the foot traffic, we felt like that was an important area to kind of attack with the foot traffic between the kids walking to school and people walking to the park. So that's basically our paving and ramp program. If anyone has any questions.
I don't have a question, just a comment. You're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Everything that's been done so far, people have commented the quality of the work. So just keep on going, and look at the amount that we're doing every year in comparison to the past. So I'm very, very happy with that, and I'm sure a lot of the residents are too. Thank you, Andrew, and your team.
Thank you.
Craig, you have something to add?
I'll just add.
Andrew, hold on a second.
Andrew had already worked this out with Aaron. I think we're ready to go with the ad tomorrow for the paving.
Okay.
And then I think everybody wants to know when they're going to start, but we'll hopefully be awarding it at your March meeting, and then anticipate construction somewhere around May for phase 1, and then phase 2, like Andrew said, will be in the fall, maybe around September. Break that out, and then the curb ramps will follow about 1 month following that. We'll go out to for advertisement, and then hopefully award in April if everything goes all right, depending on the other bids that come in for the paving, or the bid that comes in for the paving. So total, since you did 21 miles of road back in 2021, this year we'll be at 45 miles of road and 332 ramps.
Wow.
That's a lot of miles of road.
That's a lot of miles.
So, and honestly, kudos to Andrew. He prepared all of this. We really were kind of falling behind and helping out. We'll do the bidding, inspection, everything else. But so if anything goes wrong this year, it's on him. Right there.
It's all going right.
Thanks, Andrew.
So we're going to follow, as as we need to do. I know that WMA is confident that they can get that southern portion of the Speedway done, and then we'll pave that. But in the meantime, I just want to make clear to everyone that the temporary trench restoration is going to be paved to grade, and then it's going to be hot sealed, so it won't be breaking up and flying all over the place until we get in there in the fall and repave the entire road. So that cost is going to be shared between the township and the WMA.
Correct. So the roads that they're doing, they would typically be paving half a road. So
Right.
instead of having them do half the road and then us, next year trying to do it, match it up.
Yeah.
We'll combine and do it all at the same time, so it's one clean finished product.
And the WMA intends to continue working through the Speedway with the water main replacement, and then next year, we'll finish the Speedway. That's the
That's the goal.
comprehensive plan for now. Yeah, excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm glad it's over.
All right, we want to move on to land use. What's first, Craig? What's first?
First is we have an application of Christ Home for an amended final land development. Here on behalf of the applicant is Mike Peters of Eastburn and Gray. They're amending their plan from what they had approved back in 2019. I'll let them describe it, but we think it's some good things for the township, so I'll turn it over to Mike.
Thanks very much, and excuse my voice. I'm not sick, I lost my voice. Good evening, my name's Mike Peters. I'm an attorney with Eastburn and Gray, and I have here tonight Will, our engineer, and luckily he's gonna talk to you since I can't, so I'll take it.
All right, Mike, thank you.
Great. Good evening. This is a project I think some of you may be familiar with. This received final land development approval back in 2022. A good portion of this has been constructed to date. The main subject of this application is the area that you'll see highlighted in green up there. It's the construction of 6 cottage units, and it is intended to replace a 33-unit apartment building, which is no longer proposed. Also included in this application is the removal of a respite center that was previously located at the intersection near Christ Home Drive and Street Road. This application proposes a reduction of about 27,000 square feet of impervious, 37 units, and the associated traffic over what was previously approved. So it's a pretty substantial reduction from what was presented previously. We flip to the next slide here. This is just a high-level overview of what was approved previously. So you'll see that Area A section. There's really 2 wings of a core building expansion there. The wing to the south that's shaped like an L, that's been constructed and is occupied. The wing to the north of that, that's what was called I and J. That's what's being replaced, and the parking lot that goes along with it, that's what's being replaced by these 6 cottage units. And then the parking area down below towards Norristown Road, that's been constructed. If we move over towards the intersection, that street, the highlighted area on the right-hand side is no longer proposed by this application, and then to the left-hand side, almost directly under that Area B label, those cottages were built back in 22-ish or so, and are occupied as well. So that's what was proposed, shared what was currently proposed. If we just flip to the next slide here, or I guess I can do it. So as part of this application, we've always carried a master plan or future development idea for the campus. This has some history. It was some additional apartment style units that were proposed, well, from a master plan standpoint, proposed previously. Based on market demand, the idea here is really to keep selling the cottage style units. So what's now proposed on the more recent version of the master plan, go to the next slide.
Go down to the next one.
Yeah. Is more of the cottage style units along the street road frontage. This shows 26 units, somewhere in that range. This is not part of this application. This would be all under a separate future application, but just want to share this with the board as what the future of this site could look like from a development standpoint. Any questions on what was previously proposed or what's currently proposed?
None other than I'm actually grateful that we've reduced the density and the impervious surface, because that'll help us out tremendously with stormwater management and traffic and everything else. So, well done.
Great.
I'll just jump in before Scott goes to the resolution. So it was a pleasure working with Christ Home and their staff. When they first proposed it, all staff had the same recommendation: reduced density, reduced impervious, minimal impact, actually zero impact to the public streets. So staff recommended amending the prior application instead of making them go through a whole new application. Made it a lot easier on us and also them as well. We have our letter. We have no outstanding issues other than the minor technical ones. I believe they will comply. And Scott had prepared a resolution based on staff's recommendation for you to consider tonight.
Yep, and we're all good there. So at this point, let's have the boards to entertain a motion and open up public comment.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board?
Great plan.
From the public? No, being none, then we'll call the question. Oh,
No, I did have, your future plan over there on the right side closest to Street Road, how close will that be to where like the drainage basin is over there?
So the drainage basin is on the north side of Christ Home Drive, like adjacent to Street Road. There's a little cemetery just above that. That's the basin area for that portion of the campus. There's no basin located where those units are shown right now.
Okay.
There's a berm along Street Road there that I believe has some history to it and was part of a previous application for some buffering there.
Yes.
That would remain.
Okay.
These units would be on the Christ Home site
Like where the
side
grassy
of that.
area is?
What's that?
Where the grassy area is now?
Yeah, that berm would stay, the cottage units would be on the site side of that berm.
Okay. But the drainage off the parking lots wouldn't go into the area down right there at the corner of Norristown and Street?
So anything that would be proposed by that application would be subject to its own stormwater management requirements. So the short answer to your question is yes, it would go somewhere. The longer answer to that is it would be mitigated with all that
Okay,
standards.
all right, thank you.
and all that area to the right along Street Road is part of a different
That'll be a
land
future-
development.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
would be
future land development,
yes,
correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
this plan has just been carried as sort of a vision.
So what's on the floor right now is the amended, the cottages?
Yes.
Correct, okay, thank you.
That's
Sure.
all.
Is there any other questions or comments from the board? From the public? All right, being done, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can one of you just come up and sign?
All right. What do we have here?
Pressure check. I'll take it. This is another application.
Yes, yes.
All right, so our second,
Tricia
one second.
Drive.
We have our second land development application for the night. This is a waiver of land development of Pressure Technologies for their property at 415 Patricia Drive. They're basically widening their parking lot, adding a little bit. What's the impervious amount, Craig?
I don't have the actual impervious. They went to the zoning hearing board to get relief from the impervious.
I didn't see it either.
58%.
58, was that
Okay,
right?
thanks, Mike. So,
So we're adding 4 parking spots,
I
correct?
think
Five.
five.
five parking spots, a little bit wider of a driveway aisle. We've worked everything out with the applicant. We have no issues. Craig doesn't have any issues. We've worked out the resolution. Unless you have any questions for them, we feel this application as a waiver of land development is ready for action.
This is about as small of a project you're gonna get that has to come in front of you without just getting a building permit, so. They're basically making improvements to the parking lot.
Yeah.
And, based on the changes, we recommended go through the waiver of land development. So as Scott said, staff has no issues, and we recommend approval tonight.
I'll make a motion that we accept the,
Motion to accept the resolution number 2025 dash, is there a number on it?
I didn't
Not
see a
yet.
number on it.
Not yet? Okay. Is there a second?
That's 2019.
Okay.
I'll second it.
She must be on
Delay.
a, Max Headroom must be on a delay.
She's on delay.
Yeah. So, all right. Any other questions or comments from the board? From the
This
public?
time?
So being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And chair votes aye, and motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along here.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes?
Mike,
I just want to point out that I can no longer see the assembly. I must have been thrown off the loop, but I can't see the room anymore or who's speaking, so if that can be fixed, I'd appreciate it.
We'll do our best.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's see, that's that. All right, so next item is to consider ordinance amending the Warminster Township Code and specify amending chapter, and specifically Chapter 7, which is the fire insurance proceeds, and Chapter 13, licenses, permits, and general business regulations. Scott, I will hand it over to you.
Yep, yeah, the first part about the fire insurance proceeds, we come to learn, it would help if Joe Velton was here tonight. Actually, that's not a joke, but that's actually, he can explain.
That's the third
time. No, it's, we realized it was out of date with regards to the state laws that really cover this issue, so it was superfluous and unnecessary anymore. So that can come out. The second part is with regards to our rental registration and licensing. It came to our attention recently with Barry Isett that we didn't actually have a penalty or an enforcement mechanism in the ordinance, so we're adding those in now for people who don't complete the proper registration and inspections on their rental properties.
Okay. Is there a motion to
Motion.
approve?
Sure. Motion?
Second?
Second.
Seconded by Janice. Any questions or comments from the board? I know we've seen the changes. Everyone's reviewed it. Any questions or comments? None? Any questions or comments from the public? All right, being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. All right, next on the list. Yes, we're going to table the next ordinance, amending Chapter 24, Part 4, which is amends the amusement tax, yes, section, or D in land use.
Okay.
We're going to go through the language again and make some changes that are appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I need to do, right, Scott?
Yeah, we can just, we don't need,
Okay.
there was no actual motion on it, so we're good to move forward.
Okay. Next item of business, we're going to consider the ordinance amending the Warminster Township Code, specifically amending Chapter 1, Administration and Government, to change the membership of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. Anyone care to elaborate?
Right now, under the ordinance, the school district has appointment rights to two members of the, or two seats on the voting portion of the board, the Park and Rec and
Committee,
excuse me. And so we're going to, the idea is to remove that since the school district has nothing to do with Warminster Township Parks and Recreation.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion.
All right. Yes. All right. Second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Well, the only reason I ask about a question, because I know in the past, no, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I?
Yes, Tom?
I believe Mr. Holbrook can confirm this, that the two that are on there now, as appointed by the school district, will serve out their terms.
Correct,
Well,
yes.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, the people who are on there now continue out their terms. Off the top of my head, I don't know what those are, but yeah, they continue their terms, and really what was, the real way was, the appointment was, they were actually recommended for you guys to appoint them anyway, so it was like a double appointment, you know, so. It was an
So-
interesting mechanism.
They're two separate governmental entities. One should not cross over to the other. They operate the school district and all their functions and all their programs, and the township operates all our amenities and parks and functions and
No,
programs separately. So
I-
that's why we're going to do this.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I just know in the past, when somebody has applied to be on the committee through the township and was turned down because of, for whatever reason, the opportunity, because the board at that time was, at the school board, they could get on the Parks and Rec through that avenue.
They can
If there
still
wasn't
be a
space.
volunteer at the Parks and Rec, but the
Okay.
township should reserve the right to appoint the people that
No,
are on
that's
the
fine.
Parks and Rec committee.
Okay. I just like balance.
It is balanced.
Okay.
They can run their schools and we can run our township.
Right, there you go.
That's simple.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments from the public? All right, being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, the moment everyone's been waiting for, public comment. Nicole, come on up. We'll take the lady before the gentleman.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So I'm Nicole Rainier, and I just wanted to come and say hello again, and to let everyone know that I just recently started in the tax collector role. The office is still over on Veterans Way, 1100 Veterans Way, over in the community park. We're with Parks and Rec there, so if anyone's not familiar, it's back off of Street Road, and you go back to where the park is and come around. Our phone number for everyone too is 215-443-8282, and my email is taxcollector, TAXCOLLECTOR, all one word, at warminsterpa.org. So I can be contacted either way for any questions or things that can be helpful. Also wanted to let everybody know that the county and township bills will be going out soon, and the beginning of March, and that the discount period goes till April 30th, and then the face period is till June 30th. After June 30th is a penalty period until the end of the year. I've also started a listserv of emails to update everyone when the bills are mailed out and any other updates that may be helpful. So if anyone is interested in getting on that listserv, just email me, again, taxcollector@warminsterpa.org, and I'll add you to that list. So I look forward to having more updates soon to share with you all, and I'll be back next month with more of that. So
Great.
thank you. Just wanted
Thanks
to
for
let
the
everybody-
update, Nicole.
Thanks, Nicole.
All right.
I'm here about the no parking on the north side of Olive Street.
Please state your name for the record.
Richard Stein.
Thank you.
Now, you guys put out a little survey, and the survey came back and said it was a safety issue.
Yeah, there was a number of reasons. Yeah, that's right. We're
I
not
just
going
want to know
to,
what the reasons are.
well, we're going to maintain the ordinance as it is until we continue further investigating and deciding what the best course of action is.
I didn't hear a word you said.
We are going to maintain the ordinance as is until we continue our investigation and determine the right course of action for all the roads in the township. Until then, the ordinance stands.
Well, last time I was here, you told me that it was done because it was a safety problem.
That's correct.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what the safety problem is.
The safety
Helicopters, airplanes, rockets, what is it?
emergency management. That's the safety issue.
Oh, emergency management
Yes,
on the north
correct.
side of Olive
Yes,
Street.
yeah, that's right.
That
If
makes
you
all the
recall, we
difference in
talked
the world.
about that there was the ambulance station around the corner.
Okay, what about
And when the,
what about Nemel?
when the ambulance station opened was when the restriction was placed. We went over that, I think, in our December presentation. And so the idea being that the to help control the flow on Olive Street would give the ambulance some relief while they're responding to, a call, when they have to rip out of there.
When my neighbor's house caught fire, the ambulance came. You know where they parked? Or you know how they got there? They went out the street road and come around and came in the parking lot by the little shop, that little strip mall. Didn't even touch Olive Street. Now, people have been parking on that street for 40 years on both sides of the street, not every day. We've had fire trucks go down that street, tractor trailers, and now all of a sudden it's a safety issue and you won't disclose the issue. You come up with...
I think we've said it several times in the course of the last several months. And most emphatically in December when Director McAdams made his presentation. Now, one of the other things we said, just to remind the board, at the end of that presentation was that in 2025, which is this year, we're going to be taking a look at all the parking restrictions that we have that were adopted by that ordinance in 2019. When the 2019 ordinance reaffirmed the whole collection of parking restrictions that have been rattling around for many decades. We haven't begun that yet, but we are going to do it with the help of the township engineer and the public works director and the police department. And if they recommend to the Board of Supervisors that there's a change for Olive Street, we will pursue it.
Thank you.
You don't thank me.
All right, moving on. Anyone else? Welcome.
How you doing? Ed Chadro, 779 Pelham Avenue, Warminster, PA. I also have a business at 333 East Street Road on the corner of Newtown Street. We did an information request for 401 East Street Road, which is just a few properties down from my office. January 10th, we provided a right-to-know request to Jill Mayer, confidential secretary. On January 23rd, we were notified by Ms. Mayer that there are currently no site plans on file for 401 East Street Road as of today. All files were checked. Idly, she took her job title and last name off her email response to us. Later in the day, on January 23rd, we sent a right-to-know request to the Bucks County Conservation District. And within 12 hours, we received plans, reports, violation notices, township engineers review letters, a response letter, and a drainage report.
I'm sorry, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Could you please apologize for that statement?
About what?
What you said about Jill?
What do I have to apologize for? What did I say?
You said she doesn't take her job seriously?
No, I didn't say that at all.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. Confidential secretary, that's what her title is.
Yeah.
Correct. And actually, in fact, not only were that file checked 3 times by myself and everyone at L&I, those records were not in our file. They were at the Conservation District. We did not have them in our file, and it was checked numerous times, as I did tell you, in person by myself and other people that were not in that file. And I actually thanked the gentleman in the email for providing those documents that now that we have them. Because like I said, 3 times I physically went and looked in the file and had people, and I apologize that we did not have them, but I do thank you for sending them to the township, so we now do have them in our file. But I can confirm with you it was not a lack of anyone not doing their job. We try to be extremely thorough with those right-to-know requests, as it's a very serious matter. And like I said, when I can wholeheartedly tell you, myself and other people, there were no records on file in the computer and or in the physical file. So I do apologize that we could not provide them for you, but I do thank you that you did provide them from another organization, because we now have them in our file. So thank you.
Okay, so why was my email ignored to Tom Scott? And after I gave you the package, I was still ignored. What's the problem? How come I wasn't at least responded to? Don't I get the courtesy?
I responded to the person that emailed me in the right-to-know request.
When?
When my response, like you said, there was no
Right.
documents.
And
in
then
the
I
response.
gave you guys.
All right, hold on a second. This is public comment. This is
Yeah.
not going to,
Yes.
we're not going to allow you to attack our staff or our professionals here. Make your comment. You got 3 minutes.
Well, I was,
and
but
then
I was
we're gonna move
interrupted.
on. Okay,
Okay.
well, finish your comment.
I'm gonna
You
finish
got
off.
less than 3 minutes left.
January 24th, I sent an email to Tom Scott, Township Manager, informing him what took place and did not receive any response. January 31st, I made copies of everything and sent it to the Township. As I approached the front door with the doorbell camera, and before I could push the button, I was greeted with an unpleasant, "What do you want?" Then a "Where are you from?" Then "Who are you?" This went on several times. I explained there was a drop-off, an envelope to the Township Manager. Once I got inside, Jill was there. They looked very uneasy that I was there. I had them sign the transmittal that I received their information. I visit many townships quite often, and I really don't know what's going here. They have the police station literally on the back side of this building, and why is public building under lock and key? At this point, I contacted a few other professionals and citizens that live in the township and asked them about Warminster Township, and asked if I should talk to one of the supervisors on the side, because I wasn't looking to get anybody in trouble. Everyone told me the same thing, that if they had similar experiences, and they said, "Don't waste your time." That's all I got, you know? I just wanted a little bit of courtesy, said, "Hey, we got the stuff, you know, we're not in our office, maybe it's in LI, that's all I want. I want a little bit of communication." I mean, other people in the profession are having the same issues, so it's just not me.
Well, I'll disagree with you right now if you want to have a debate, which I'm not going to have
No,
a
I'm not
debate
gonna have
with
a
you.
debate
But hold on a
with you.
second. That's completely unfactual that none of us are available for a conversation. Unbelievable. I have an email. It's posted on the website. If you needed to contact somebody, you were more than welcome to send an email to one of us. I check my email 2-3 times a day, and I would have responded to that. So I understand you're upset.
Yeah, well, you know, after, I would have said, no, these guys are great. I always liked Warminster Township, I always liked the board, but it was a compilation of things. My email was ignored, my package that I sent was ignored, and after I spoke to these people, I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe there is something to that, you know?
Well, people like to, you know, we're easy targets because, you
Yeah, and not
know,
only that.
don't waste your time.
When I
but-
got to the front door too, it was the whole.
Well, the
whole thing.
reason that the front door is locked is because people like the gentleman before you have threatened people in the township. So, and we have record of that. As a matter of fact, he went right in from that podium on the record on television and said that he might have threatened somebody at this
Well, if
township.
anybody
So
gets-
that's why the door's locked.
Right, anybody gets
So there's the
threatened, they should be
explanation
filed
there.
charges against them and the
Well,
rest. Simple as that.
Yeah, that didn't go anywhere.
But it hurts the rest of the citizens in the community though.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
it doesn't make us
we
look
do
good.
our best, and if we didn't have files, then, you know, Jill already apologized for that, and we're all accessible. So if you have an issue, feel free to reach out to me.
Next time I'll reach out to you, but.
Please do.
I mean, seriously though, if we do a freedom of information request, should I just go to L&I or should I come here?
No, you need to file it, however,
Right to know.
yeah, it's a right-to-know request, so it goes to, I guess, the
I just
township
found it odd
manager.
that the township wouldn't have the township engineer's letter in the correspondence.
I'm sorry?
I'm finding it odd that the township would not have the township engineer's letter and the correspondence between the agencies. Because there was a building permit plan. They must have got a waiver from land development because it clearly qualifies for land development.
He's referring to the property that's on Street Road.
Yeah, we're in litigation.
Yeah,
We
that-
were.
that-
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Yes.
get into it because it's public comment, but Scott and I represented the townships through litigation. They didn't go through land development, and that's part of the issue.
And that was one of the issues.
And the
Yeah,
other
well,
thing
hey,
was,
just say, hey, you know, it's in litigation, I can't give you anything, you know?
well, if honestly stuff you asked, I didn't have either. I mean, you could have called her to contact me. We didn't. They have been going to right to the county and bypassing the township. So
That was one of the issues.
That
So
was
there
one
was
of
a
the
lot of
issues I
issues
testified
with
on.
that property
Yeah.
that were in litigation that we, first of all, in a right to know, you can't disclose that in a right to know because you're still in litigation and you have obligations, they're legal obligations. So however that got transmitted, if it was a miscommunication, then we apologize. But you can get reached, if you have something that you don't think is being handled the right way, you can certainly reach out.
The main issue was I was ignored, and that's all I want to bring it to your attention.
Okay, all
Okay?
right.
All right,
Well,
I'm done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Consent agenda. You ready? So, consider approval of the Board of Supervisors meeting minutes dated January 7th, 2025. Consider approval of the Board of Supervisors meeting minutes dated January 16th, 2025. Appointment of Debbie Krasinski to the Planning Commission. Her term ends in 2027. Appointment of Deputy Tax Collector for 2025. Who is that again, Nicole? It's a mental block, yes. Linda Finelli, okay. And that's the Ivy Land Tax Collector, correct? Consider 900 York Road, land development number 17-08, escrow release number 4 from escrow account in the amount of $13,200. Consider Weiss Markets, yeah, I know, that's a typo. Weiss Markets Gas and Go, land development number 15-03, escrow release 2, final from the escrow account in the amount of $123,775.55. And consider resolution for DCNR planning grant application for update to the park, recreation, and open space plan.
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Thank you.
I will second that.
All right, any questions or comments from the board? The only comment that I'd like to make is the DCRN grant application, and that's to update our open space plan. I think that's well overdue, and it needs to be done. I'm glad we have, thanks to Jess, she's working on that grant application as we speak.
And Jess already spoke to our planner, your planner, sorry.
Yes.
Judy Stern Goldstein. I got an update today. We may have some alternate options there, maybe save the township some money, which we've done other townships, but to still achieve the same goal of getting you a grant and moving forward a little quicker.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Any questions or comments from the public? All right, being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right. Approval of the bill list.
How you doing? Like approval of the bill list and supplemental bill list of January 31st in the amount of $1,177,123.59.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All right. Any questions or comments from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. John, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief, as usual. So the numbers you have in front of you on the summary, I really want to point out that the 2023 numbers, they were audited. These are final numbers. The 24 ones, we have not gone through the audit yet, so they may change a little bit. But overall, everything is looking good. Throughout all the funds, looking at the reserves that each fund have, compared to the expenses, which is the ratio that we always want to look at, they're looking good. Not fantastic, great, or anything like that, but they're appropriate, which is the most important thing. For the general fund, the two things I would really like to point out is the revenues compared to budget and the expenses compared to budget. We were 7% above budget on revenues and 3% under budget in expenses. So we are like getting really close at nailing it right. Our budget was exactly what we predicted a year before. So the closer we get, the better that is. As I did the budget presentation, I always say we kind of round down in revenues and round up in expenses. So the fact that we were over in revenues and under in expenses, like we're honing in on almost kind of like what I would say a perfect budget is.
Yeah, beautiful.
So.
So John, well, just a question. So we are basically, looking at this report, I really was impressed. Does that mean we are financially stable at this point?
Oh, at this point, absolutely.
Okay.
No structural deficit, correct?
Right, no structural deficit.
Yeah, GFOA has these recommendations on how much reserves you should have, which is perfect, because you don't want to have too much reserves, which means you're just collecting taxes, not doing anything with them. But we have enough reserves to carry expenses for a certain amount of time, which is exactly what we were looking for. So I think everything's looking really good.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. And just because there's a rumor floating around that we keep kicking the can down the road as far as our financial stability and our finances here in the township, while you're here, we have not had a structural deficit since 2019, I believe. So we have a balanced budget every year, and we don't spend more than we take in revenues. Am I correct?
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you to you and your staff. All right. Moving on. No unfinished business, no new business. We'll go right to professional reports. Thomas, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I want to reiterate what was mentioned earlier at this meeting is tomorrow, if you've got plans to get on that train to go into Philadelphia, you're going to do yourself a favor if you follow all the directions on the signs and the officers and the firefighters and the public works people in attendance, whose goal is to get everybody there safely and everybody back safely, while at the same time providing fire and police coverage for the community as we normally do every minute of every day. Additionally, the reason why it's so cold in here tonight is because our boiler isn't working. And our boiler is getting replaced next week. So the administrative office here will be closed on Tuesday for the boiler installation. And Monday is President's Day. The township will be closed on Monday. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Tom, thank you. Scott?
Yeah, just something I want to highlight from my report, and this is something we're seeing everywhere, nothing specific, but with regards to what we're seeing with tax assessment appeals across the county. In the past, few years, the school district's been running them, things like that, but we're seeing a lot more of the taxpayers all of a sudden coming in, seeking a lessening or lowering of their market value, assessed value, to lower their taxes. So I have 2 of them listed on here that have come in the last year or so. And like I said, we're just seeing it everywhere, so this is just something for us to keep in mind and think about that, with our, countywide assessment where it's been and how long it's been, some of these,
since
some of these
1973.
some of these businesses are pushing back all of a sudden. Well, not all of a sudden, but it's been gradual, but I've been seeing an uptick in it, so it's just something to think about. It's tough when you're at a, double-digit CLR to, evaluate your tax base, and that's kind of where we're at now, that it's being done. We talk about spot zoning, but this is basically, spot assessment. Like, basically taxpayers are having to come in and challenge things to try and get their things right, and it's going to start, piling up at some point from a numbers standpoint, so it's...
Okay.
So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Other than that, happy Valentine's Day, happy President's Day. Again, what everyone's been saying, be safe tomorrow, enjoy it, have some fun. If you want to stay home and watch it like I'm going to do that as well. So.
All right, thank you, Scott. Mr. Kenner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Scott said I have to be shorter than Mr. Hagee and Mr. George's presentation earlier, so that will not be a problem. You have our February engineers report. Highlight a couple things, a couple projects. Shenandoah Woods, we're starting on the stormwater MPDS permit for the demolition part. We wrapped up final payment finally for the public works yard improvements there. Road program you already heard about tonight. We're also working with Park and Rec and Public Works on the Warminster Community Park Trail paving. Those trails are in bad shape and need to be repaved, so we're going to work out a phasing plan for that. We had a little uptick in traffic engineering request from Mr. Scott, and Leslie continues to look at those as far as when we get resident requests to analyze an intersection, mainly for turning movements. We already mentioned about Judy will be working with Jess on the open space plan update. And then obviously the big one is Five Ponds. We're out there today wrapping up the survey of the parking lot and maintenance buildings and cart building. We should have that finalized within a week. And then the committee, we'll call it the golf committee, is continuing to work with the structural engineer. Once the layout is is kind of finalized there, we'll be able to start working on the design, grading, stormwater, ENS permits and whatnot. So that probably get a little bit delayed, so it was good that we could jump on Shenandoah Woods project, and we got a lot going on. So I'll entertain any questions.
No, other than, I know we put a lot on Erin's plate, and,
No comment.
She came out smelling like a rose.
yeah, she does a great job, and,
We're very thankful, very busy. At some point, I'm going to have to bring Leslie and Judy in here, so.
yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of great stuff still going on in the township, with Shenandoah Woods continuing to get that under control, and the golf course clubhouse and amenities, outbuildings, and stormwater management as well.
And I know the board's big on, giving back to the residents in the community, but sometimes they don't realize how much, all kidding aside, how much, I was here in 2008 when we started trying to do some stormwater projects and limited budgets, and it just, we couldn't get a lot done, and it wasn't, the financial situation, and to see what they're doing, it's great to see. And then all the paving of the roads. Andrew's doing a great job trying to get everything done. I know that was the goal of the board. And then all the projects with the parks. It's really great. We're starting to get other clients that are asking, hey, what did you guys do there? And you guys are starting to get noticed a little bit more on some of these larger projects, and working with the state and federal officials to help out a little bit there with the funding. So it's good to work on those projects.
It's really nice to hear that your residents feel that way too. It's nice that people appreciate what's happening in the town.
They still talk about the golf course first, but
I know, that's
how great
okay.
it is.
Well, I mean, to piggyback on what you said, for years before I came on this board, all I heard from, it's a small community and word travels quickly from other people that work in other townships, is you do not want to come to Warminster. You do not want any parts of Warminster. You don't want to work here. And now that coin's flipped, and now we're hearing things like, I'm hearing great things about Warminster now. So that's hats off to our staff, our manager, our
Especially since
assistant
Mr.
manager.
Scott arrived. I've heard that a lot.
Things have really changed, and we built a foundation early, and and I'm happy to be a part of turning the township around and spending the money here, not sending it elsewhere. We reinvest in the community, in the parks, road paving, the municipal authority with all our infrastructure work. And, when you flush your toilet, it actually works. It's not backing up in the streets, and if it does, it's immediately fixed and repaired. There's a lot of great things happening in the township. All for a minimal cost, by the way. So, all right, thank you. Tom, do we have an upcoming meeting that we have to cancel?
Yeah, I think we're currently scheduled for the first Thursday in March. We discussed this briefly at the last meeting. We wanted to push it back to March the 13th, 30 days from tonight.
And the reason for that is the road program bids. I think we need to give our engineers more time to process, all the bids.
The advertisement.
Yeah, because the advertisement, we just thought it in best interest of the township and the residents as the fiduciaries that we give them another week to process the bids before we award. Is there any objection to moving the?
None.
No.
Looks like we got it.
I'm good.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, I'm good.
No objections?
Well, we didn't
If there
discuss
is, speaker, hold your tongue.
Well,
No, it's the second Thursday, that's okay.
I don't remember us discussing it, but that's fine, I'll figure it out.
Yep, we'll make it.
We did not discuss it. That's why it's in an open meeting forum.
No problem.
It's not a,
Good.
Well, you just said we discussed it, okay. I'm sorry, I missed
well,
that.
I discussed it with Mr. Scott because I set the agenda as the chair. I discussed it with our engineers and Mr. Scott to say, do you need another week? And should we postpone the meeting? And now I'm presenting it in public so we don't violate any sunshine laws. And if there's an issue, we'll just postpone it to to the next scheduled meeting to award.
Would you rather do the 20th?
No, it's fine.
I mean, we could do, hold on a second. Let's make sure if there's a conflict of interest and you can't make it, let's hear it, you know.
Going to Bristol.
So, the next scheduled meeting after the 6th of March would be the 20th, so we can just make the meeting on the 20th. And we don't have to have a,
No, it's fine. He made him a comment. And
would you rather have just
Whatever
would
works
you
for
rather
everybody.
just cancel the March 6th meeting and have our next scheduled
March
meeting on
13th.
the 20th?
we could do the 13th. It's fine. I was just. I
Do you
thought
have-
I
do you
mi- I
have
thought
a
I missed
problem?
something.
Well, if we're gonna do the 20th meeting, we're gonna want to cancel that anyway, won't we?
We would cancel the meeting if we held it on the 13th, but if you can't make the meeting, then we'll just have our regularly scheduled meeting. We'll cancel the 6th and have the regularly scheduled meeting on the 20th.
I'm good either way, I'm fine.
Janice?
Yes.
The PSATs
Then
in May.
then we can report back what we learned at PSATs.
No, we're fine with the
Are you
13th.
saying March? You're saying March.
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 Don't-
PSATs
He
is
says
until
until
May.
listen to
John.
Yeah.
John.
He's interjecting.
May.
Yeah. All right, so where are we?
I'm okay with it. Make sure you two are.
Can you attend the meeting on the 13th?
Yes.
Okay.
But while we're on the topic, can we make it the second in April as well? The
No.
second Thursday in April?
Well, we're going to have to, we can discuss that at the next meeting,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
Can't miss 3 meetings in a row.
So
All right.
are we the 13th or the 20th?
The 13th.
13th.
Okay, thank you.
All right, our next scheduled meeting will be on the 13th. Sorry for any confusion. All right. Supervisors' comments. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead,
Always make
Kath,
Janice-
switch it up.
Yes, okay. I'd like to thank all of our professionals, all of our staff, and fellow supervisors for a very productive meeting tonight. I think we got a lot accomplished, and a lot of things are on the docket to be improved on, especially our roads, Shenandoah Woods, Parks and Rec, Library. I could go on and on and on, but it's great. So all those projects are going to be done. I want to thank everyone for all of their input, and have a great time if you're going to the Eagles game, but be safe. I'm sorry, the Eagles parade, and be safe, and happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome, Kathy. Chuck?
Just wear that my shirt. Yeah, I'd like to say happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Have a safe day tomorrow. Have fun at the parade. I'll be down there by the library. Look for me. Have my kids with me. And also President's Weekend. Reflect and remember our past presidents. That's about all.
Go ahead, Janice, we'll let Judy go last.
Oh, okay, all right. I wanted to thank everybody that came out this evening. Remember to play it safe tomorrow and have a happy Valentine's Day. Have a good time with your sweetheart and enjoy the long weekend. Hopefully it'll be nice weather or, get some indoor projects done if it's not.
All right, Max, thank you.
All right, Judy, you're up.
Oh, okay, I just want to thank everybody for attending and for participating, and, there's a lot of joy eventually in participating in your community. You should all come out, you should see what they're doing at the libraries. Parks and Rec is fabulous right now, it's the envy of Bucks County, and what they're doing in this community without going crazy on taxes is absolutely amazing. And I was blown away tonight by the municipal authority report and the public Andrews report. They're doing such wonderful work that we couldn't get done so quickly ever before or so efficiently. And so have a good Valentine's Day. Have a good time at the parade tomorrow if you're going. Chuck, don't lose any kids. Hold on to their hands. Thanks again. Good night.
All right, thanks, Judy. So, yeah, enjoy yourself tomorrow. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. We certainly don't want you spending your day right next door here in the Sallyport. But, Chief, I have to say, I read your report, and well done. you guys are, our police are doing a fantastic job. I know there's a couple changes here and there, but overall, in the aggregate, great job. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion.
Thank you.
Good night. Wait, we need you. We're talking about